again. I'm Ernie Pack.
I'm Greg Yost.
He's the Squatchman. I'm Pac-Man Paranormal, and we're trying this again. Take two. Uh, we were on last week, like I started to say when we tried to get this thing started a couple minutes ago, and we talked for over 2 hours with Greg about his encounters with the forest people and his knowledge of them and experiences, and we talked a little bit about uh, Dogman and some of the other things that you've encountered out there. This week, we're going to start it off by talking about the Popelick monster, the Goat Man. Um, it's a urban legend kind of thing around here that is fairly well known. Not everybody has heard of the Goat Man, but a lot of folks have. A lot of folks have, and uh, there's people that say it's just an urban legend. There's folks that believe wholeheartedly in the legend of the Goat Man. And Greg went out and tried to find some evidence, and you were able to do so. So, you want to talk about it, Annie?
Yes. Yeah. Being into the Bigfoots and stuff like that. I get a lot of people getting a hold of me for the different stuff. Various reasons. Thinking I might know something about that or this. Want my opinion, want me to check it out, well, whatever the case is. But back in Louisville, I'd probably say 4 or 5 years ago, I can't remember exactly when, but there was a number of vicious, brutal attacks within the city on animals. And the first one was a farm, a llama farm, where the guy had he had over 20, let's say close to 20 guard llamas. The animal that protects farmers' herds. Any kind of herd, chickens, goats, sheep, cattle. They protect them from predators. They got very forceful legs that would kick their the what they got to kill, they would kill it with their legs. Wolves, coyotes, whatever the dogs, whatever the predator is. And there was an attack here in Louisville. A very wealthy man that lived in a neighborhood right down by a college, by the zoo, the Waterson Expressway, right behind his house. And he had this little farm right in the middle of $300,000, $400,000 houses, a very uppity neighborhood. And after this happened, it was all over the news. All the news outlets, first thing out of their mouths was dogs, dogs, dogs. They did all this. And there was, they reported 7 llamas got killed. And the 8th one died the next day. But they reported 7 of these got killed by dogs. So immediately I started thinking, well, these things are bred to kill dogs. So how can a couple of dogs kill a whole pack of them? 15 to 20 of them that was at this farm. I go, that don't sound right. So I started getting, that day I started getting a lot of phone calls, messages. People asking me, hey, what's going on in Louisville? Well, what's up with them llamas? And I'm like, well, that's a good question. A lot of them was thinking like I was. I go, well, they couldn't have been dogs. I'm like, well, that's what I'm thinking. So I said, hey, I got the team together, Team Squatchman. I said, hey, we're going to figure out what happened. Well, we got to get over today. This is the very next day after it happened. So we went over to that farm, and I told all my friends and everybody asking me, I said, I don't know. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to see if I can do an investigation, look around, talk to the owner, talk to neighbors maybe. I'm I'll do everything I can to lead with the truth. So me and then the general and my son of Squatchman, we went over there, and the homeowner, he came out. Very nice man. Like I said, very wealthy man, and he was very polite. And he asked, well, what could he do for us? And I told him exactly who I was, what I did. And his first question was, what, you think Bigfoot did this? I go, no, sir, not at all. I go, Bigfoot wouldn't do stuff like this. And he goes, well, if you're a Bigfoot researcher, what brings you here then? And I go, well, there's another thing, a possibility of what got your llamas. And every time I said llama, he corrected me with guard llamas. He said there was a big difference. There were guard llamas. So, and he informed me that the eighth one just died, that he got word of. It was at the vet. He said some of them weigh 650 pounds, some of them weigh 500 pounds. Their necks and head, they reached up taller than me, almost 7 feet tall, some of them. And I'm going, what do you think about the news reporting what got a hold of them? He said, well, the animal control's been out here, the police has been out here, all the media outlets have been here, and they told me dogs most likely did this. And I go, but sir, I go, these llamas are guard llamas. You think 15 or 20 of your llamas are going to let dogs get them when they're bred to eliminate this? I said that they would have killed them dogs in no time with hardly no damage to them. And he goes, he thought for a while and he goes, well, that's what I was thinking. He goes, it just don't seem right. I just can't, I can't go along with the dogs, but that's what they told me. Well, what else am I to believe? And I go, well, sir, I go, I might be able to find you answers. I go, let me give a good investigation here. Let me look over your property, inside of it, around it. Give me some time. Let me see if I can come up with an answer. He goes, hey, take all the time you need. He goes, you can go inside my ranch, inside the llama pen, well, whatever you got to do. He goes, if you can come up with answers, man, he goes, please do it. So we started our investigation on the outside of the property. The first thing we noticed, there's a big creek running besides his property, and another one, a tributary running behind the property. They were flowing creeks. One of them was Beargrass Creek. It runs all the way out to J-Town. Remember that. We found a couple footprints that looked like this one here. I'm going to show you here in a little bit. That was right there overlooking the ranch, right there in the creek bank, kind of like up on a little hill. 2 prints, that's all we found. Both of them staring right at the llamas. Where we locked around the whole perimeter of the gate, the fence, everywhere. He had barnwood fencing up, and he had wire fence on the inside of that. So he had a very well enclosure to keep the llamas in, and anything else that wanted to come in, they couldn't. There wasn't no breach in that whole fence. So we went inside. We looked all over the property. No dog prints anywhere. We did not find one dog print. That's strange, since they said it was dogs. If there was that many dogs there, we would have found something.
Right.
we were out there looking at the gate where one of the 2x1 barn slat fencing rails were broken in half, and just a whole, that was horrible. A whole blood, you know, a whole fence full of blood that the llama tried to get out right there, and he got murdered right there on the fence, and the blood just come all the way out everywhere. It was a horrible sight to see, and we started discussing the owner, myself, the junior, and my son. I go, there's a good chance I know what did this, sir. I go, I believe this is the work of the legend, the urban legend, Goat Man. And he goes, Goat Man? He goes, I've heard of Goat Man. Is he real? And I go, well, sir, I believe he is. Well, how'd he get here? I said, you got a highway out here next to your property, a creek. I said, they travel the creeks at night. They didn't get anywhere in Jefferson County they want, just following creeks. Nobody would ever see them. And he's out to do one thing. He's out to kill God's creations, humans and animals. It doesn't matter. He's not here to feed. He's not here to defend himself. He's a killer, and that's all he does is kill. And I believe he killed your llamas. And I go, my son's done a lot of research on this guy. He's a satire, one of the 4 kings of Satan's army. And there's only 4 of these characters. And one of them happens to be right here in Louisville, Kentucky. He carries a 2-sided battle axe. And he's been around ever since the beginning of time. Way back before, the internet was there. I can guarantee you that. And he's talked of. He doesn't say where he's from, who he is, but what he is. And he carries his sword, or not the sword, but the battle axe. And the guy goes, well, I got some pictures. I go, I haven't showed them to the media. I haven't shown them to anybody. He goes, but I want you to see these pictures. And he had pictures of his llamas out in the field the morning of the happening of when he woke up to this. A lot of them had big gashes on their neck, just slices, which would go with the size of a battle axe. They didn't have them anywhere else on their body. All of them had it around their necks, and they got real long necks. If you all know what a llama is, these things are getting whacked out in the field. A lot of them were injured when we were there. They were limping around. They were very timid. The guy said he'd been acting really weird since the night. This was 2 days later after that attack. I got all this on my YouTube video, The Adventures of Squatchman, Journey to the Truth. We got the whole investigation, a 5-part series. I will never be able to tell you all this on this show. It's way too long. That's why I'll go through it quick. But if you want to watch the whole investigation unfolding, it's on my channel. So anyway, the guy showed us the pictures. And Eugene, he's like, Dad, they match up with that battle axe. He goes, that's what they're getting stuck with, that battle axe. These ain't bite marks from a dog. A dog would
chew it up.
Yeah, chew it up, and it ain't gonna be able to get up to his neck anyway with just one wound.
Right.
And plus on the top, that these things are bred to kill dogs.
Yeah.
So I mean, you just say there's 15 of them.
Themselves.
There's 15 llamas out there. I said 20, 15 to 20, but I go with 15. So that's 4 legs on each llama. So you're looking at 60 legs. 60 legs. And a jogger come through and said he's seen 3 dogs in the adjacent neighborhood about the time of the attacks. And I even got to interview the jogger. I said, well, these dogs must have looked like Cujo then. If they just killed 8 llamas. And he goes, no. He goes, they just look like regular dogs.
They had blood all over.
Yeah, they had no blood.
Was there at the scene.
They were just running through the neighborhood. I didn't see no blood or nothing unusual about them. And I said, well, they're trying to blame these dogs that you told them you seen. And he goes, well, I didn't tell them I seen them doing nothing. I didn't even see them over there. I seen them out over here on my side of the neighborhood. So we immediately, no, ain't nothing about this where the dogs did it. So everything was leaning towards a goat man. So we went back over there after we were there about 5 hours. We talked to the man again. I've shown him some of my pictures of what they say Goat Man looks like. I don't think anybody's ever got a picture of Goat Man. And he's like, well, I'm going to start locking my llamas up in the barn at night. He goes, is there anything else I can do to protect them? And I'm like, well, that's a good start, sir. I go, he walks these creeks looking for stuff to kill. If he sees them out there in the field or whatever, that's going to invite him in there to kill them. But if you don't see them, maybe he'll look elsewhere. But, as my general always told me, it was a blood moon night, night, the night of the moon, the night this happened. I don't know if it had anything to do with it. But we're standing out there and, we're getting ready to take off, we did everything we could. And this lady comes out from across the street. She goes, what are y'all doing here? I've seen your Bigfoot stickers. Do y'all think Bigfoot did this? And I go, no, ma'am. We think Goat Man did this. She goes, well, I don't know if he knows. But right about the time this happened, about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, I heard the most blood-curdling scream that I have ever heard in my life. And I go, really? She goes, yes, sir. She goes, it wasn't a dog. It wasn't one of them llamas. This thing sounded like it was from hell. So I'm telling you, I'm like, hey, guys. I go, well, thanks a lot, man. I go, we'll add this into your investigation. So we learned a lot that day. The next thing I knew, I had to head to J-Town to the Trestles to Pope Lick. This is where this creature lives, and this is what he works out of. There's trestles out there. A lot of people throughout the decades have died up on them trestles. The legend is the Goat Man lures you up there, walking across the trestle, like in a trance. And a train comes flying around that corner up there, up around the bend, and you're out on that trestle. There's only 3 ways out. Meeting that train head on, assured death, jumping over the side.
Which it's nearly 100 foot.
Yeah, 90, 100-foot drop, another sure death, or trying to run back to where you come from, which is probably a 2% chance that you're going to make that. So a lot of people have died. And the latest, just a couple years ago, 2 teenagers from Alama's high school, Seneca, right here in Louisville. They went up there. They were juniors. One got killed. The other one made it. A couple years before that, a couple from Ohio went there. An emergency room nurse and her husband looking for the Goat Man. Somehow or another, they ended up there. She got run over by a train, and the guy hung out over the trestle. Somehow he made it.
Down somehow.
Yeah, he survived, but yet he has lost his marbles over that night. What happened? And again, this is the characteristic of the Goat Man. It's all about killing. It's all about disrupting our lives. killing us,
It's
killing our animals or pets.
it's a negative entity.
Yeah, it's a negative entity. This is no Bigfoot. This is no
Not your
cryptid, as we
typical
know.
cryptid, right?
This is right from straight from hell, and he's here for one thing. So anyway, there's a Polk Lick Park there. We went there that afternoon. First thing I found when I got over there is what Ernie is holding.
I don't know how well you can see this. I'm trying to get it at an angle. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. And let me
see
show
the two
you.
hooves.
Yeah, these right here are razor sharp. These are about 3 inches long. These are very sharp.
Yeah.
We found a whole roll of these, one after another, like a bipedal leaves. Not 4, 2. A lot of people tried to say that this was a deer track. There's no way. I did a comparison on my YouTube
Deer
channel.
tracks kind of curve in at the toe, at the very tip.
Yeah, they
like
curve in.
That's
And their dues
straight
are
up.
only a quarter of an inch long at the longest. Look how long these are. And anyway, I did a side by side comparison of a guy at work that had a 200-pound trophy deer. We compared his feet with these feet. His were 5 1/4. These are 7 1/2. I went to Indiana DNR. I went to Kentucky DNR. They both said 5 1/4. That's about the biggest footprint you're going to find of a deer in the Kentuckiana area. He goes, and that's a monster. And I showed him this. And I showed them both this. And I go, well, what do you think this is? And they were amazed by it, but they could not give me an answer of what this was. So I did research on it that afternoon, and it kind of looks like a goat footprint, but on a much bigger scale and a much sharper looking claw.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's the ultimate killing weapon if he used that to do that.
If he didn't
use
to
it,
swing the
if he didn't use his two-bladed battle axe. So anyway, I casted some of these. It was below freezing that day. I mean, down by 0 when this happened. And I got one good friend out of all of them I casted. Most of them broke, but I got pictures of them.
It's hard to do plaster casting in
And they're all in a line. And are about 12 inches apart. And I got an eyewitness again on my YouTube channel that had an eye face to face with this guy. And he said he was only about 6 feet tall. Probably one of the best eyewitnesses ever. And he said he had feet like that. So anyway, as we're doing this investigation, almost a week to the day, 2 donkeys in Jefferson County got brutally massacred. We went immediately to that farm right there in the city of Louisville, right in the suburbs. A guy had a little farm, which is rare, but back in the day, if you had land, they built neighborhoods around your land. And so this guy was like, I had an island in a suburbia mania, suburban, right in the middle of all that neighborhoods. And he had a couple of donkeys. They were destroyed so bad, he didn't let the news videotape them. He didn't even want to talk to me about it. He said he was too tore up over it. But we did research on that too. Donkeys kill coyotes, wolves, dogs. They could even bite them. I've seen pictures of them with coyotes hanging in their mouth. So there ain't no way the dogs did this too. And the media was trying to blame the dogs. So it was going on like this.
I remember this being in the news. Actually,
it was all over.
I saw you on the news when they interviewed you.
Yeah, I was on the news
before I ever knew you.
And a lot of this, they kept saying dogs, 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 and that's why I had to do this. I knew it wasn't dogs. So another week went by, and there's another attack. This time a sheep farm, and 11 sheep were missing in a well-fenced area. Well, we didn't go out to that one. We were too busy still on the first two, piecing together the first two attacks. So if this wasn't enough, when we get all of our stuff together, we get it posted. People were dying to see what we had, and we did a great job on this, a great job. And we put it out on the YouTube channel. And a couple of days later, a man got brutally killed out right underneath the trestles. So immediately we packed up. We went out there again. There were police everywhere. I'd say over 50 policemen were out there. They had a helicopter. We walked over there, and the policeman goes, "Yeah, can I help you?" I said, "We're doing an investigation on this death." And he goes, "There's no investigation. It's a suicide. Mind your own business and get out of here." I go, "Okay." So we went back over to public parking lot, not far from where I found that footprint. We're watching police go by everywhere. We're watching the helicopter skimming just feet over the woods out there. And I'm telling my people, I'm like, well, if it's a suicide,
there's some kind of investigation.
Yeah, what are they out there looking for? Why would they have a helicopter up there if some guy committed suicide? So a couple of days went by, and that's what the news put out. They said it was how bad this guy was, but then their final word was it was a suicide. Just to make everybody happy, just like the dogs. Just throw anything out there, make the people believe it, and sweep it under the carpet, and everything would be well said and done. But that shit don't work with me. I know better. So anyway, this lady seen my video on YouTube, and somehow she gives me a call. She got my phone number. She said, "Thank you so much for doing this. The people of Louisville are so dumb that they don't want to believe this goat man." She goes, "This goat man killed my brother." And I go, "Whoa, wait a minute. When this happened?" She goes, "Just a couple of weeks ago." She goes, "That guy that they said committed suicide," she said, "that was my brother." But then when the family went to see him, they said he was so cut up that we couldn't see him. And the law made us have a closed casket funeral because we weren't allowed to see her brother in the state that he was in. And I'm like, "And this is a suicide?" And the lady goes, "Yes, this is what they're telling us." So I just want to thank you, sir, for getting the truth out about what is really happening, the everything's going on here. So that kind of freaked me out. So now I had, the lady said her brother, he was out jogging that early morning jog. Something attacked him right there by the trestle. And it don't take much to figure out what attacked him. And he was so mangled up and cut up, they wouldn't even let the whole family see this guy. So that was like a 4-week reign of terror a goat man did to the city of Louisville. 4 weeks of killing stuff. And now it's been eerily quiet the last couple of years. That's the way he works. There'll be a good, 4, 5, 6, stories like this, and then nothing. It's like he'll lay back, go back into the cave where he come from, and let everybody forget it happened. Then when
rear his head again.
Then when he's ready again, he'll come out and strike again. And this is all on my YouTube channel. I mean, like I said, I can't show you the pictures that we got. I can't show you the animals of what we got. But these animals with the slash marks on their neck, this one with 5 gallons of blood going down this gate, where this animal that was supposed to have been able to kill these predators, he
got massacred.
He got massacred.
Slaughtered.
Why? Because it wasn't a predator he was used to. This was the goat man. He didn't know what to do. So at the end of that story, 8 guard llamas got brutally massacred. 3 more got wounded, but they did survive. And I made a pretty good friend with this man out here. He's welcomed me out anytime. Whatever, the animal control, all them people, as far as he's concerned, they fed him a bunch of llama BS. Just, you happy? There, we done our job. Good luck. See you. That's basically what they did for this man. So we went the whole 9 yards, and we got all this. We got all this information. I got the only footprint of goat man on the planet. The park superintendent seeing this. He said he's never seen nothing but heard stories about the goat man. And I took him exactly to where I see he couldn't believe it. And he's like, my Lord. He goes, so that thing must be real. And people might ask, well, he's been around for centuries. Yes, he has. He's been around as long as the devil has. Like I told you, that this is not a flesh and blood entity. This is not a regular cryptid like a dog man or a Bigfoot or any other.
They're not necessarily flesh and blood either, but
to a certain
from a whole
extent.
different place. Yeah,
but they're not from hell either.
Right.
They're not from the gates of hell.
Exactly.
And this thing has a lot of power. He has a lot of strength. And he probably is, how would you kill it? How would you go about killing something from the hell other than with the power of God?
A couple of comments over here I wanted to get to. Nick Millay was talking about, he said, this really changes from what he had heard about the Pope Lick monster and about the deaths. He said he'd heard of 6 deaths that occurred along the trestle. Said he's going to have to rewrite and document this monster and the location. Nick, it's like a lot of things. If you live here locally, you hear a little bit more about what's going on out there. And a lot of it you don't hear unless you research it yourself and talk to the eyewitnesses, talk to the people that are actually involved, like Greg did. And Denise has linked his YouTube channel over here in the chat for anybody that would like to check that out, his little series that he did on the goat man. And like he said, there's a lot more information in there that we don't have time to get into tonight, or this would be a 4-hour show where we just talked about that.
Just like somebody thinks it's a moose. I'm sorry, we ain't got no moose in
there's no moose in Kentucky, or I'd be a happy man.
We ain't got no moose nowhere around here.
No, I've traveled a long way trying to find a moose. I just want to have another moose sighting in my life.
The biggest deer we got here, like the forest people told me.
Well, we've got elk.
About 225 pounds. But not around Louisville.
Right.
This is in Louisville city limits.
Yeah.
I'm not out in deep forest, people.
Right.
This is in Jeffersontown, Kentucky, which is part of Louisville now.
Yeah.
And we just don't have them kind of, we don't have that kind of animal here. And this is 2.5 inches bigger than the biggest deer.
Such creature. Yeah.
Yeah, known creature in this area.
T-Dog is asking if you've traveled throughout any other states trying to figure out different situations and sightings. I know that you've been out to the Montana Vortex. You've been out to Washington State. You've done a lot out in the Pacific Northwest area.
I do a lot of traveling and stuff, but mainly it's all about the forest people. this guy right here. Yeah, that's what I'm into the most. But I'll use my I'll use my intelligence and my energy for other things. Such as the dog man. I got one of the best pictures on the planet. Y'all seen that last week.
I can bring that back up again if you like.
As far as the goat man, everybody just wants to, like laugh at it like it's an urban legend that he ain't real. It never's been real. But after you watch, my series on what we did over the massacre and everything, and the evidence that I got. I mean, we were out there that day. I found a pile of bones, a pile of bones. I found deer jaws laid out right there for me, like horns. That was his calling card. He was letting me know that he knows that I'm on to him. And I don't know what I'm going to do, but he will not get away with this. I know that he murdered all these creatures and all these people. And what that guy's talking about, he's known as 6 people.
There's
Yeah, 6 people. There's been a lot more than that.
More. That's been going on for a long, long time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 64 years old. I grew up in Louisville. I went to high school in Louisville. When I was in the Boy Scouts, they used to talk about the goat man.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been around for decades, if not centuries. And all that time, that's all you ever hear about is people dying up there. I don't know if they're going to have all that in the records, but for people like me and Ernie that are from Louisville, yeah, we know. We have lived it. We have heard all the stories. I mean, kids used to go out there in the carloads when I was in high school, trying to find Goat Man. I mean, it got crazy there for a while.
Yeah.
And after all these years, people are still dying up on them trestles.
Yeah.
I mean, I just told you too, this happened in the last 2 or 4 years.
Yeah, it's about
2 deaths.
3 years ago when those 2 girls.
Yeah, 2 girls
from
Seneca.
They actually had tickets for a tour at Waverly that night.
Oh, really?
And they had gone to check out the Goat Man before their tour at Waverly, and they never made it to Waverly. That.
So yeah, it's it's not a legend. It's very real. It's not a myth. And again, I got a heavyweight boxer in Louisville that was fishing and with his son one night, and we had a face-to-face encounter with him. Yeah, I can't tell you all this. It's on my YouTube channel if you want to watch all this. But we got some very good evidence that everything points to the Goat Man doing this. So, yeah, that's about all I got to say about the Goat Man. I mean,
check out his series on YouTube.
Yeah, that's the Adventures of Squatchman, Journey to the Truth.
Yeah, you can just
Squatchman TV.
Squatchman TV on YouTube.
And
there's quite a bit on there about the forest people. Series on Goat Man's on there, quite a bit.
Yeah, we got some good stuff on there, and we haven't done anything recently, but we're getting to get back into it.
Yeah.
But when we dug up the info, we went full bore on it. We was almost doing this 24/7. Yeah, we come up with great stuff. Great answers for the man who lost 7 beloved guard llamas to
that are not cheap animals.
No,
I mean they're high
dollar animals. And yes.
But anyway, you guys check that out on YouTube. There's a lot more on there, a lot more detail about what he's been talking about. It's really cool. Since we met Greg, I don't know that he was into ghost hunting at all before we met. I know you said you had been to Waverly on a tour a few years back.
Yeah, nothing big. That's probably.
But how long ago?
Yeah, back in late 90s, early 2000s.
It would have been the
Yeah,
early
and they still had the
2000s.
swing set out there.
Yeah, it would have been the early 2000s.
Yeah.
But
No, mostly just to have fun, you know.
yeah.
You
Well,
know.
one night we were with him in his forest over in southern Indiana, and he started talking about a place near there where there had been an Indian massacre. And Denise says she was just a baby back in the early 2000s.
Hey, don't rub it in.
Yeah. But he told us where there had been an Indian massacre not far from there. And Denise and I, being ghost hunters, you know, we're intrigued by that kind of thing. And we asked him to show us where it was at. We went up there. That was the same night that we had 7 trees pushed, or a total of 8 trees that were pushed over by Sasquatch that night. And it had already been an epic night. But we decided to go do some ghost hunting. So we went to the site of this massacre. And that was, I think, Greg's first real taste of ghost hunting. And we got some crazy good communication going on there. Broke out the spirit box and invited Greg to chime in and ask some questions. And you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. Yeah. First of all, yeah, I didn't know anything about ghost hunting. Yeah, I like watching that show. You know, the Ghost Adventures. You know, with that Zach Bogan and Aaron.
Zach Bagans.
Yeah, Zach Bagans. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then that got old. So yeah, I mean, every time they have a show, you know, something happens and
somebody gets possessed.
Yeah, you just can't believe
demons
it.
come after them, and it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, shit that happens all the time. Like, yeah. So anyway, I went with Ernie after the force people put on a show that we will never forget. So I mean, how much better can it get in one night? So like Ernie said, we went to Pigeon Roost. It was a bad time in American history where 25 villagers got attacked by the Shawnee Native American Indians, and they got slaughtered. And they got a memorial up there for the people. 25 there's 15 children and 9 adults that got killed that night of that attack. It was September 21st.
I think it was September.
Yeah, 1812. They call it the Pigeon Roost Massacre. So anyway, I already set up him and Denise. Yeah, they set up their equipment, and you know, the voice box, the
SB7 spirit.
Yeah, the REM pod, and as soon as Ernie set this stuff up, it started going off. You know, we were under this little pavilion right in the middle of the memorial. You know, they had a log cabin there, and you could see, almost picture, you know, their village there, you know, where the other log cabins would be. And immediately his stuff started coming on. So Denise and Ernie already asked a couple of questions. And then they said, "Here, you want to ask them something?" So the boy's name they're talking to was Christopher. We did get that very clear, Christopher. So I go, "Well, how old are you, Christopher?" And he said 12. Very very legible. 12.
Same voice.
Same voice. And I said, I go, "What's going on here? Are y'all dying?" And he said, "Whoopies." So we're all thinking, "Whoopies? What's a whoopie?" So then it come to my head, you know, the Indians used to whoop and holler, you know, whooping. So maybe they called them whoopies. So I'm like, "Oh, the whoopies are killing you." I go, "I'm sorry to hear that." And he goes, "Help." And I go, "You need help?" And he goes, "Yes, 4 soldiers." And we're making all this out like he's right there with us. So I said, "Well, look," I said, "well, we're soldiers. We're gonna help you. We're We're going to take care of this mess for you. Okay? And he goes, thank you. And I go, and by the way, how many whoopies have y'all killed? And he said, 4. As soon as I asked that question, 4. So I'm like, wow. So in the meantime, we we were doing other things. Denise was standing there taking pictures out in the field.
Got an amazing photo.
Yeah, and all of a sudden she's like, oh, y'all got to see this. So this is why me and Ernie's talking to Christopher. And she shows us a picture of a family of shadow people out in that field. It looked like a father, a mother, and 3 smaller ones, probably children. And they were all in a line like they were almost holding hands. And she got that picture clear as a bell.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen ghost shows and all that. I have never seen nothing any better. I mean, this was top-notch stuff right here. And then the EVP we're hearing, it's just blowing everybody away. And let me add, this is one of these places where when you get out of your car, you're met with, the air's thick with sorrow, with just bad energy. It's almost sad, man. I mean, and then they got a big plaque there, and you read the plaque, and it gives you light of what happened that night. It's not a very good place. Yeah, it's a sad place.
It really is.
And for us to get all that information that night, that blew me away. And if it wasn't for Ernie and Denise, I never would have done nothing like that. I don't know none of that equipment. So that was a real eye-opening thing for me that night. So, I mean, so you put the experience we had with the forest people knocking the trees over, and then this, I mean, it was a night people dream of.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen anything better since.
Yeah. Had that been done on a pay-per-view live stream or anything like that, people would have more than gotten their money's worth with everything that happened that night, between the trees getting pushed over and then the activity we were getting at the massacre site. I mean, it was just an amazing night.
Yeah, like Denise said, she would have uploaded it.
Yeah.
If
we'd have thought about that.
Yeah, we would have thought about.
And like she says here, the next day she researched the massacre and found out that there were 4 Shawnee that were killed.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't know that, but Christopher had told us that.
Yeah, she got a hold of me the next morning, and there was a newspaper from back there, and they said all about the attack, and just what Christopher said. And the settlers did manage to kill 4 Shawnee. And there was a lot of Shawnee. I think they said there was like, 250 or?
Yeah, it was like 200. It was a war party.
Yeah, coming
back from Terre Haute.
Yeah, they attacked the fort up there at Terre Haute, and they were on their way back to their village and just stumbled across this village. And yeah.
So, kind of since that night.
So I tell all my friends now, I was talking to a boy that died over 200 years ago, talking to him like me and Ernie's talking. I mean, how mind-blowing is that, man? I mean,
yeah,
it was really incredible.
When you get that kind of, I mean, everybody over here that's a ghost hunter, when you get that kind of communication through a spirit that you can confirm with, documented history, and verify that what you're getting is accurate and real. I mean, that's what we do this for. I mean, it's just awesome. And
she wants to know what
can you tell when something is off with the forest people, like they're upset or they're mad?
Well, usually they'll let you know. They might throw rocks at you, If they don't like people in the group, they'll throw rocks at you, or they'll do something as simple as just leave. Nothing will happen. They're not gonna, they're not gonna come out and hurt you or nothing. But if they're mad or upset, yeah, they're very,
They won't show.
yeah, they're very, they're gentlemen and gentlewomen. That's not their nature. Um, and then they'll just leave, man. You won't get no activity.
Is anyone else seeing us freezing? The Queen of, I believe that's Ocean, says we keep freezing. Is anybody else seeing us freezing? Just let us know. It might just, she's watching through YouTube. It might be either her connection or just the YouTube link. I don't know. Have you ever felt fear during your personal experiences? You want to talk about the Indiana encounter? We touched on it a little bit last week, but you didn't really go into detail.
No, not really. Yeah, I could. Yeah, because this is he's definitely paranormal. But yeah, one day, yeah, and you asked me if I ever felt fear. This is not from the force people, but from other things out there. A lot of people don't understand. There's a lot of negative, bad entities in the forest. And one day I run across one. I was in there, a good 4 hours, I'd say. It was a hot July day. It's almost too hot. Couldn't wait to get home and get in the air conditioning. And I was coming back up the creek, and I got to the road, and about 100 feet down the road, another guy was coming up out of the woods. So I'm like, well, that's strange. I didn't see anybody. Yeah, I was in there for 4 hours. I didn't see nobody back there. So I kind of shrugged it off, like, oh, well. And I turned around and walked to my Jeep, which was about 50 feet away. So as soon as I turned around, yeah, I felt somebody like breathing on my neck. So I turned around, and there's a 7-foot thing standing there, real skinny, kind of greenish, gray skin, real ugly. I mean, he didn't look human. And I glanced down at his feet, and he had like 3 claws. Yeah, they didn't look like feet or nothing. I don't know what they were. And he had clothes on, pants and a t-shirt, but they were filthy. And his pants were all ripped up, and oh yeah, he was a mess. Whatever he was. So me being nice, yeah, I go, hey, how you doing today? I go, what's your name? And he goes, Indiana. I said, hey, good to meet you, Indiana. I said, well, what are you doing out there? And he goes, Indiana. And I go, yeah, we're in Indiana. I go, well, what are you doing out in the woods? And Indiana. He said a little louder. I said, okay. So I'm going,
this guy's crazy.
Yeah, this guy, yeah, he ain't right. Yeah, I had my knife right there. I'm like, oh gosh. I started getting a real bad feeling. I felt I was in danger, almost life threatening. But my whole mood changed. I got to get to my Jeep, man, quick. So I keep trying to back away from him, and he's right there, man. He won't leave me alone. So I'm going, well, you need to back away some, Indiana. I said, get out of my space. And he started screaming again, Indiana. Yeah, I'm like, hey, I go, is that all you can say? I go, then I started getting real mad. I started screaming at him. I pulled my knife out. I said, you better get away from me, man. I go, I'm going to gut your ass. And he was really mad then. He's looking at me with the deep eyes, just screaming, Indiana. And finally, I pushed him back. I said, get out of here. And I turned around, and I more or less run to my Jeep. And I got there, I jumped in, turned over there where he was at. Not a trace of him, long gone. So I looked that way. Looked all over. There ain't no way this thing could have been gone like that. So yeah, for the longest time, I didn't tell anybody about this thing. I didn't know what the hell he was, and to this day, I probably still don't know what he was.
Right.
But I have seen shows about skinwalkers. And this kind of what I seen that day. It kind of reminded me of one. Yeah, sounds like a rake. Hey, it could have been. Wait, but he was very tall, very skinny, just very evil looking. And I've never seen this guy after that day. But we have felt stuff out there that's evil.
That last time we were in the forest that was New Year's Eve, wasn't it?
Yeah, you tell me. Yeah, you tell them.
New Year's Eve, we'd been all over the forest, and we decided.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah,
my buddy Bob.
Yeah, there's Bob. How you doing, Bob? We had decided that we'd make one last trip back to the gifting stump before we left the woods, just to see if any of the forest people had come for their treats. And as we're driving toward it, Ronnie was with us, and she's a sensitive. Denise is a very strong sensitive as well. And they both started, feeling sick, nauseous. They didn't feel good.
Yeah,
and so
right.
They decided not to go back to the stump with us when we parked the truck and started walking back toward the stump. And so Greg and I get back there, and immediately we both could feel it. Just had if you've ever been out to Greg's sacred gifting stump, it's a pleasant feeling.
It's a joyful place.
It's a joyful place.
Yeah, people feel good out there. Good energy.
Yeah, everybody likes going back to the gifting stump. But as soon as we got back there, you could just feel this heaviness and this darkness and this get the fuck out of here kind of feeling. It was just, and we've both been in the forest with all kinds of things. I've been to a lot of haunted locations with all kinds of things going on. I rarely, if ever, say I gotta leave.
Yeah.
And we both were like, we need to get out of here.
Yeah, and we both felt it at the same time.
And I don't know if that was Indiana or if that was something else dark out there, but there was definitely just a heaviness and a darkness that told us we needed to get out of there. And so we did.
Yeah. And then when we got back up there and told Denise, I'm going back there. I want to go back here.
Yeah, of course.
She ain't afraid of nothing.
No.
But no, it was a bad feeling though, and I've never felt that before. Even with that Indiana guy, you figure a nice hot July day, that'd be the last thing you'd come running up to. But so it don't got to be in the middle of the night to see these things. Yeah, this was like the 2:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah,
and very scary encounter, but I didn't back down from this thing. I stood up to him.
Threatened to gut him.
Yeah, I drew my knife out, and I meant it. When it's a life or death situation, I'm not gonna die.
When it's fight or flight, you're gonna fight.
Yeah, it ain't time for me to go. So hey, if them cryptids want some of me, hey, may the best man win. But I ain't gonna run from you. Yeah, I'm too old to run. So yeah. You hear the old saying, fight or flee. No fleeing here. So I don't carry no weapons other than my knife. I usually don't even carry that.
Right.
So I ain't worried about these things. I'm a godly man, and God protects me. I'm doing the God's work right now. I'm gonna tell everything that happens to me. Some of my stuff is personal, but I can tell you one thing: I got God on my side when it comes to this goat man. He wants this thing destroyed. I can tell you that much. And there is one way to destroy it. And my son knows all about this. So I mean, are we going to destroy one day? I don't know. Would we like to? Of course we would. I mean, well, what would be better than beheading this goat man and parading his head down Main Street of Louisville?
That's
Hey,
right.
everybody.
Yeah. Here's the urban legend.
Yeah, here's your myth. You see what I mean? But until that day happens, I'm just letting people know that he's real. And he's out there and he's killing. And if you want to learn more about him, watch my YouTube. I mean, this eyewitness says he's been kidnapping homeless people for decades, and who's gonna miss homeless people? So he knows what he's doing. He ain't no dummy, and he's a killing machine. So that's about all we're gonna say on Goat Man. And now we're gonna go back to the big
the forest people.
Okay, well I noticed I noticed my buddy Bob's on here. Hey, well, I want to tell him a lot of people ask me what Bigfoot likes, what he don't like, this or that. I always tell everybody, about the gadgets. And I even said it last week about white light. They hate white light. And my buddy Bob, he's on here, and he went over there. He was in my campsite, and he always camps right over in the next one. And he had some stuff over on the picnic table, him and his daughter Debbie put out. So we had two different places, they could get gifts from. So he walked over from my fire pit over to his campsite to check to see if they took anything off his table. And when he shined his light, there was some standing back there. They were back there getting stuff then. And we were over there, the next campsite over, and I heard this big growl, a couple big growls. Bob comes back over and, what the hell happened over there? He said, well, I turned my light on to see if them gifts were over there, and they growled at me. So I think he was even up there.
Yeah.
And so, what's that app?
Necrophonic.
Yeah, he got on that app. I don't know if any of y'all know what this is, but Artie can tell you. But anyway, it's been giving us very good answers. Yeah. I mean, we asked these people's names.
The only one I have any faith in at all.
Yeah, exactly.
As far as the phone apps go.
And we was asking whose people's names was, and they knew everything we asked it. So one of them asked, we asked, something about, what, don't you like that white light? And they said no. And then somebody said, well, who turned it on? Who turned that, or who'd you growl at? And he said, Bob. Just like that, Bob. And they go, well, why'd you growl at Bob for? Light. He said light.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just like that, he said Bob, then he said light. So yeah, they hate lights. But anyway, you want to piss one off or get one mad at you, turn a white light on him. Yeah, he'll growl at you. I don't
throw
think
things at you,
throw stuff at you, but he ain't gonna, he ain't gonna come up and
slug you.
Slug you or nothing. But that's one thing you do not want to do if you want to have a good encounter with them. Either up at camp or out in the woods, wherever you're at. If you turn your white light, like you hear a noise, and you turn your spotlight on, that blows everything.
Yeah, they're done.
They're done.
And you were on another podcast earlier this week, and they were asking some questions. You were having some internet problems, and it was having a hard time getting the communication where it needed to be on that show. But they one of the things they were talking about was the use of trail cams and video cameras and cameras to take pictures. And you know, I know. Let me give you my take on it, and you tell me what you think. I think that trail cams are like entrapment because they don't know that they're there necessarily. They don't. They snap photos randomly based on motion and things like that. And I don't. I don't think that it's a good thing to use them when you're hunting the forest, people. I don't think that's a good thing at all.
Right.
We do snap pictures occasionally. I mean, Greg has caught some of the best pictures of Sasquatch that you'll see. We've caught some good ones. Todd and Leanne have caught some good ones. A lot of people that have been in the forest with Greg have caught some great photographic and video evidence. But the thing that you've got to do before you go to a location to hunt Bigfoot or whatever and start putting out cameras and snapping a bunch of pictures and shooting video everywhere is you first have to develop a trust and a relationship between you and them. Once you've established that relationship, then you can say, hey, we're going to snap some pictures. If you don't mind, could you please show yourself in these photos just so we can see you? It's something like that. I mean, as crazy as it might sound, talking to these things gets you better results than knocking on trees or howling in the woods or playing distressed animal calls or any of the things that you see done on these TV shows. And you talk to them, you explain, you just want to snap a few pictures, and you might actually get some evidence that way. Now, is that kind of how you see it?
Yeah, and I let them know you're going to take.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, I'm going to take a picture. If you want to be in it, hey, stick around. If not, see you.
Yeah.
And if they want to be seen, hey, they'll be there. As far as building a relationship, that's before you do anything with them. I mean, run that way, for a good year or two. Don't try to do anything to them. Just find something like a gifting stump, what I use. And that's the best way to start a relationship. You're building trust and you're building a relationship. And it's not like you're feeding them. I mean, who could afford to feed one of these guys?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's a treat.
We do good to bring them a jelly donut every now and then,
Yeah, it's just a treat. And they'll look forward to seeing you out there. Like, oh, here comes that guy again. He always brings us something.
Yeah.
And then when you're out in the woods and you see stuff, hey Jerry, and like Jerry, they are smart and they understand what you say exactly. That they can read your mind. They know your intentions before you go out there. And like I tell a lot of people, like when you see tree balls, like Jerry posted some yesterday. He had like 20 in one little area. And I was going to tell you, that's a high energy area. You got all them tree balls, and I was talking about that energy.
Is that his area up in central Indiana?
That's up there, up there by Martinsville or Martinsburg. Yeah, we're right south of Indy.
Right.
But it's up by Morgan Monroe. That's that's a very squatchy forest up there.
Yeah.
And him and his son went for a walk yesterday. That's the first thing I saw.
Arches.
Yeah, it must be a high energy area. You'll find that many in one area.
Yeah.
In some areas of the forest, you don't see anything. So I mean, that's what I was saying exactly last week. There's more energy spots in the forest that are more powerful than other ones. So that's where they might pick, to do these balls.
Right.
But anyway, when you find these things, talk to them. Let them know you know what they are. Go, hey guys, I love y'all's work here. It's just beautiful. Awesome. I mean, I applaud you, man. You people are awesome, and like Jerry just said, they know what you're saying. They know what you're doing. You recognize them that they're the ones doing this. You know, a lot of people will walk right by them things, not
think
even
anything of
noticing
it.
them. Yeah, and the forest people are always around. You know, they're always out in the woods. You know, people will go out there. Well, I was out there all day.
Didn't
You know,
see
I didn't
nothing.
see anything.
What kind
I
of
don't mean
energy
they're
did
not
you
out
take out there
there.
with you, first off?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, to be seen, yeah, to see the unseen, it all starts with energy. And most of the time, hey, let's face it, they're unseen. They're invisible. That's the way it is. But I have found out the best time to catch one in flesh and blood. Not saying you won't during the daytime, but nighttime. I always said this from day one. They own the night. As soon as it gets dark, they come out, and they come out in flesh and blood. There's no reason for them to be in their energy farm at night. They can save all that energy for the daytime when they need it to get away from us, to get away from a bad situation. No matter how they use it, that would be the time they use it.
And there's more energy for them to use during the day
Exactly.
with the sunlight
Yeah,
and everything
yeah.
else. I mean, that's all energy sources. I
Good
mean,
point. And then at night, when they don't have that energy, they can go to their original form, which is flesh and blood. Yeah, that's who they would prefer to stay at anyway. You know, they love being in the flesh and blood form. But at nighttime is the night you can see them. I mean, up around where I camp out. I mean, if you go back to that gifting stump, I mean, look at all the people back there that have seen black shadows moving, black masses moving. The night we had all the trees get pushed over, you know, we seen that one up in the tree, a big black mass. I mean, that's what they like. You know, they don't care if you see them like that because you can't make out any detail.
right,
You're not really going to get a good picture of a black mass.
right.
So they know all this, and they know that they're working to their advantage. They're like, we're going to give them something, but we're going to have it more.
Just a taste.
But it's going to be the way we want it done.
Yeah.
Not the way he wants it done. And if you don't like it, you don't have to come out here anymore.
Right.
But yeah, usually chances are, you know, when I ask them to do stuff, they do it. You know, I know there's a lot of people from the IBRO listening. Yeah, so I'll give you a quick you know, example of what I'm talking about. Yeah, I went up there one night and I got there late. They were having a camp out. And Leroy came back to the camp to get me. You know, Leroy Nell, the guy who runs the group. And he took me back to where a big group of them were. There was about 20 of them there. So we get out and everything. And my buddy Bob Spencer's, yeah, I go up to him and I said, what, anything going on up here? He goes, oh, it's dead. He goes, we ain't heard nothing, seen nothing. He goes, yeah, nothing. So I go, well, hang on, man. I go, well, let me see if I can work my magic, Bob. So I walked up to the front of the forest. I raised my hands up. I talked to the forest. Before I was done talking, there was already stuff going on. I heard noises, started seeing the eye glow, started hearing low vocals. And yeah, so basically what I did, I talked to the forest and I brought the forest, I talked to them becoming alive. Uh, you know, not just the Sasquatch people. I talked to the forest.
There's a little bit of everything.
Yeah, there's a lot of energy in that forest. I mean, that thing has been around a lot longer than all of us. And it's just think all the secrets and the people that have been through that forest, all that residual energy that is just in that forest from centuries and centuries of being there. Trees as old as, you know, I know how many, you know, how many hundreds of years.
Yeah.
I mean, if the trees could talk, imagine what they would tell us. but yeah, it's all about the forest. That's what they live in. They live in the forest. They're the forest people, and then and you compliment their house as well as you do them. You got to remember, they live out there, they sleep out there. That's their entertainment. That's where they eat at. That's where they go to the bathroom at. Um,
They raise their
everything.
children, everything.
Yeah, that's everything.
That's home.
That's home, and they have no reason to leave. So when you go out there and there ain't nothing out there. No, you didn't see them, but they're out there. And when they start liking you, and they start knowing that
You have good intentions.
you good intentions, and you're no threat at all, then you're going to start seeing them. You're going to start seeing a lot of them. I mean, they will come out and walk right by you at a distance, but you will see them. None of this blurry picture stuff, no nighttime shadows. You will see a forest person walking right in front of you, be it 100 feet away, a couple 100 feet away. That's the way it works. And I think they do that as your relationship builds with them. They're like, hey, we're not worried about him. He doesn't have no camera. He doesn't have a gun. Look at him. He has nothing. That's why I always go like that. I let them know. When I raise my hands and talk to them, I don't have nothing in my hands.
No tricks.
I'm not gonna trick you people. It's just all about me. I want you to do it for me. Nobody else, just me. And after the years, they do it for me. And now I'm at the point now where I can bring a whole group of people, and they will do it for the group of people. I can go to other places, like I just talked about up in Leroy's camp out. I mean, I can get stuff going on up there all the time, every time I go there. Let me explain this last camp out we had. Leroy wanted me to speak to the group. Me and this other woman, Edie. So we're both a lot alike with your insight on the people. We believe a lot of the same stuff. And later that night, I invited all the people down. They had a circle down there at the end of the campsite. And there was woods there, and there was a trail there. I invited everybody in there. I said, well, y'all come back here tonight. I will show you what I do. And with a little luck, I'll make stuff happen. So there's a lot of people down there. And since I got there, I did the same thing. I raised my arms up. I talked to them. I said, hey, all these people are here. They want to see something. They want to enjoy what y'all do. And almost immediately, man, and that forest came alive. I mean, I had people all over that circle. I was hearing people, look, red eyes. Look, there's one. Look, there's one walk. Look, there's one crawling. I mean, so many people had encounters that night. Is it because I talked to them and asked for this? I believe it is. Hey, a lot of people will go to my forest all the time, and they'll get a hold of me. And man, there ain't nothing going on up there. We was up there 4 hours and nothing happened. Mm-hmm. Yeah, why's that? Yeah, I wasn't there. That's why nothing. But they figure everything is all right with me because I'm not going to let nobody hurt them, and I'm not going to let nobody go behind their backs and do stuff to them that I don't want done.
And it goes back to what I was saying about the pictures. You took the time to develop that relationship and that trust.
And they totally trust me, and I totally trust them. I mean, I used to go out there all the time at nighttime by myself, pitch black woods, no weapons, nothing. Why? I was looking for the truth. I knew they came out at night, and I knew if I wanted to find the answers I was looking for, I would have to go out there at night as well. And even though I don't do that anymore, ever since that Indiana incident, I mean, because I will honestly tell you, people like Indiana and people like the Goat Man, that they're pure demonic entities. I do not want to go head to head with a demonic entity. I would rather have
It's above my pay
I'd
grade.
rather have people like Ernie and Denise and Todd and Leanne with me. People that know how to know these things more than I do. I'm a godly man. I hope God enough would. I hope God would protect me for such entities. And I'm still here, so I'm sure maybe He has a hand in that. But I just want people to know. The forest is great. The woods is great. Camping is great. Hiking is great. But
Squatching is great.
And squatching is even greater than anything. But just remember that there's evil out there, my friends. There's evil. David Pilates, missing 411 books. 6,000 people a year go missing in the forest around the country. 6,000 people. Most vanished without a trace. So a lot of people.
And Bigfoot gets the blame for a lot.
Yeah, he gets the blame. Yeah. I mean, there's probably not a week that goes by people will ask me, "Hey, what's happening to these people?" Just like that one guy asked earlier, do you do other stuff like I did with Goat Man, go out and find the truth? Well, I can tell you basically the missing people. I don't need to go out and find the truth. I can tell you what's happening to a lot of these people. There's portals out there. There's cracks in the sky. There's tears in the universe.
Warps in time.
There's
in time.
Places a human can walk through that never to return. Another dimension. Sounds kind of far out. Yeah, it is, but it's true. Things come in and out of portals. Some portals you can go into and you can't come out. I mean, I can't explain them. I'm not a portal expert, but I know that they exist out there. And I think a lot of these people are going into them never to return.
Yeah.
Most people that come up missing are by themselves or with their dog. My advice.
The dog is found.
My advice is don't go out there by yourself. Always have a companion. 2 heads are better than one. 2 people are a lot harder to probably make disappear off the face of the earth than one.
Right.
If not, bring 3 or 4. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. But just be darn careful. If something's in your mind telling you don't, it's probably as good a choice to don't. Turn around and go the other way. But if you see
like
something,
that night at the gifting stump when we decided we needed to get out.
Yeah, we got out. We didn't stick
question it. We just got out.
Yeah, we didn't stick around to see what was back there. Something's putting that evil feeling out. We used our common sense and we got out of there when we did. I mean, it was so bad. Denise even wanted to tell some guy that was camping up there, "Hey, you better get out of here."
Yeah.
There's something bad back here.
Yeah.
That's how bad this feeling was.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, this don't happen all the time. I mean, don't let me scare you or anything. I just want to let people know the truth about what's going on out there. The missing people.
It does happen.
It happens.
And it's documented. It's not just some type of old wives' tale or urban legend or anything like that. I mean, these are real people with families and mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters and children, and they're just gone. And there's no explanation for where they've gone to. Denise was talking about how she disappeared temporarily at Gates of Hell. I think we talked about that a little bit last week, but we were at Gates of Hell, which is Casey's cemetery. I'll touch on it real quick. And Denise had heard something down in the woods, and she went straight for it to investigate, like she always does. And I was up by the truck. Another fellow was there with us. And after just about 5 minutes, we didn't see Denise. We didn't hear her. And so we yelled and we got nothing. Started getting a little worried. So we went down into the woods where she had gone. And there's a particular area that she was headed to. We call it the Witches Circle. Down there
Yeah.
at Gates of Hell where it looks like an amphitheater down there with an altar in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Well, we had gone down toward that and yelled for her again. Nothing. Yelled several times, got louder and louder. And I mean, we were scared. And I mean, throughout all this, it wasn't more than 5 or 6 minutes that had gone by. But I yelled again, and Denise answered, and she was over the next hill and way down in the woods where there's no way she had time to get there in the time that she had been gone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, how did she get
way
from
down there
where we last saw her to way over there in the space of about 5 or 6 minutes? I mean, there was no explaining it.
Yeah, why would she go over there?
Right. Yeah, she had no reason to go, just wandering way back into the woods. And, I mean, did she go through a portal? Was there some type of what happened? We don't know what happened. But and I mean, is that one of them situations where had we not been there and had not hollered for her, no one ever would have seen her again?
Yeah, she never would have came back.
Yeah, is that one of these missing 411 kind of cases that we derailed before it could happen?
Before they took her away all the way.
Yeah, and she says she was yelling for us, and we never heard her yell until about the 5th or 6th time I yelled for her. I finally heard her answer, and like I say, she was way over.
Yeah, so I mean, she would have been somewhere else if you couldn't hear her yelling.
Right.
Like, say, another dimension.
Right.
But somehow she was close enough to hear you.
Yeah.
After 6 yells.
Yeah. I mean, it really happened, and I mean, you cannot explain things like that. And, there's so many theories on the paranormal, cryptids, UFOs, everything about how, there's interdimensional aspects to it and different metaphysical type explanations and you name it. And we don't know nobody knows all the answers. I don't know if we ever will know all the answers. That's why he spends as much time in the forest with the forest people as he does. That's why all of us who are ghost hunters spend as much time in these dark, abandoned places as we spend talking to thin air. We're trying to get those answers. But, I mean, I don't know. There's one of the theories, like about Kentucky, the state of Kentucky, this area around here being so haunted, having so many different haunted locations in it, is the massive cave system that runs under the state of Kentucky. All of the quartz and crystal that's under the state of Kentucky, all of the limestone, all of the underground rivers, things like that. And I think all of those things play a small part in it, but none of them in and of themselves are the answer. I think it's a combination of all of that. That it's just got to be the right set of ingredients at the right place and the right moment in time. I mean, I've talked about this before. I feel like the paranormal world, if you can picture it like a plane of water with ripples on it over here. And then our living world, whatever you want to call this existence that we're in, being another plane of water over here with ripples in it. And every now and then those ripples touch. You know what I mean? And that's when we can see their side.
Yeah. And they can see
and they can see our side. And then but they're gone. They touch and they're gone. And I don't know. I I just feel like it's all related. I think that,
Yeah, it really is. I mean, you got to ask yourself, what's the common denominator? Energy. It's all about energy. The forest people, they got tons of it. These demon creatures, man, from the gates of hell. They got plenty of energy. These ghosts or spirits that are still here, why they didn't carry on through the light that could go to, I don't know why.
They don't choose to.
They don't choose to. They elected to stay here. They got a lot of energy. So all these things, it's all about energy to them. If they don't have energy, they don't have anything. They couldn't do nothing what they do without energy. So that's the main focus with me. I didn't know. When I first started doing this with Bigfoot, I just thought he was some big flesh and blood, ape creature out there. But if you ask me that today, he's anything but that. Because everything I've learned, through my journey didn't take me down that road. He is not like some guy said today, a descendant of, the giant ape.
Gigantopithecus.
Yeah, he's nothing like that. For one, he's not an ape. They're people. So one day, I could care less if it ever gets figured out. But
Gigantopithecus.
yeah, but I know he's not an ape. And nor everything he's an ape.
No.
He might look like one from a distance or whatever, but if you see one's face close up, it's not an ape. It don't look nothing like a gorilla. So I'll rest my case there on that one. There's a lot more to them, and it's all about energy. They got to have energy. Just like us humans, we got to have water, to survive. They got to have energy. Without energy, that they would be flesh and blood creatures. They wouldn't be able to do what they do, and that would probably be their demise if they couldn't disappear. That's when things would get ugly for them. So that's their secret weapon. That's how they keep a lot of people from not seeing them. That energy. Yeah, like I said last week, they don't want to be seen. They want to be left alone. They don't want to bother people, and they don't want people bothering them. But if somebody like me or a lot of other people, that are knowers, and you go out there just to be with them, and they start picking that up, it's called a relationship. And you just build on it, build on it, build on it, and you keep doing the same thing over and over and over, and that's how you get somewhere with them. And eventually, you're going to see them. You're on a collision course of seeing one, flesh and blood, right in front of you. That's simple.
Yeah.
No ifs, ands, or buts. I was a doubter at first. When I seen the one in Ferdinand or seen the arm of him, it was a long 3 years. I started doubting myself. I was like, well, maybe I just imagined that would happen up in Ferdinand. I started doubting myself. I said, maybe, these things ain't real. And I would have seen one by now. Because I was taking hikes out in the woods like 3-4 times a week. And it just wasn't happening. And then almost 3 years to the day, I didn't tell this story last week, so I'll tell it here. I'll get a Bigfoot
Is this
story.
when you saw the big Indian looking fella?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't tell this one a lot either. So I'm walking my dog Buddy. It was in November, 3 years after the one in Ferdinand came down off that hill. I was out there. I wanted to see one. I was so so caught up in the moment of what happened to me. I had to get the answers. So again, I'm walking on a trail called Non-Stow Trail. It runs right through the forest where I go camping at. and it goes 60 miles through southern Indiana. It's a very long trail, and a lot of people call it the mini Appalachian because it's so hilly. A lot of up and downs through the Indiana knobs. So I take my dog out, man, when I got off work. I'd get up there about 3:30, 4 o'clock. I got off work at 2, and I go about 2.5 miles in and 2.5 miles out, about a 5 mile hike. And it was in November, so it got dark around 5:30, 6 o'clock back then. So I always made sure I wanted to get out of the woods before dark. After I seen that one in Ferdinand, I didn't want to be out in the woods with them things in there at dark. So yeah. We sat down like we always did. I had this one place. Every time I got there, we sat down. I made Buddy's pour some water in his bowl. I carried all that in my backpack, and I had a little water. We take a water break and then go back to the car. I'm fixing this water up, just sitting there, and this little deer comes walking by. 20 feet in front of us. We're on the path, and he don't even
care that you're there.
Yeah, care that we're there. He's seen us, and he was a young boy. I think I named him Rudolph. He was a little muscular guy. He just had little, antlers coming up. Yeah, they still had velour all over him. So he was a baby, and he's just walking away. I'm like, well, I wonder where your mom is or whatever. And Buddy's, he loved wild animals, and he disappeared behind a big wall, like an ivory and an oak, a honeysuckle, that kind of green. That was the last green in the forest to die off in the wintertime.
Yeah.
So he walked behind that, and all hell broke out. It was like a big fight. Sticks breaking, snapping, the heavy footsteps, and Buddy sitting there, his ears up. I'm going, God, man, what's going on over there? So all of a sudden, this deer comes flying out horizontally, not being thrown out. He jumped up and
like Rudolph.
like Rudolph.
He's going to take off with the sleigh.
He was flying through the air
with the greatest of ease.
And he touched down right back up, and he's going down to the floor. Booking. And Buddy's trying to, getting ready to chase him. So I'm hooking up Buddy's leash. I want to go way down there chasing him, chasing deer. So that's the way he was. So I'm down there like this, hooking him up, and his head goes from here over to there. And immediately, man, his hair come up, his ears. I started growling. I was like, oh man, what now? So like I said, I had my head, taking care of getting his leash on there and everything. So I look up slowly, and right there where all that happened there behind that wall of that green, there's two of them standing right there. A big red one and a black one I call Little Kong. He was so muscular, he looked like King Kong. And the other one looked like Geronimo. I seen an old picture of Geronimo. And I swear, man, his face, it looked like an old Native American Indian. A very wise looking face, like 150 years old or better.
Wrinkled.
And his forehead was wrinkled all the way up here. He didn't have any hair up here on his forehead. And he had hair coming back behind him, but his face was it was very weathered, very old looking.
Leathery.
Yeah, almost like leather. And he was big. He wasn't as big as the other one by any means. The other one was black, and he had a darker face, similar to the other guy's face, but it was darker. And he had a hairline right there. Right over his eyes. A hairline like that, where he's probably a lot younger than the older one. And I mean, he was just huge, man. Everything about him. And the only thing I was doing was looking at looking at him face to face. I was taught in the Navy, man. Let your enemy know you're not afraid of them.
Look him in the
Yeah,
eye.
look them in the eyes, stare them down, even if you don't have a weapon, which I didn't have. I didn't have anything. So I'm just staring at them back and forth. 100 thoughts going through my mind. Am I going to die today? I just seen they just try to get that deer. They're probably hungry. Yeah, a little deer got away from them.
Now they're gonna eat me.
Now they're gonna eat me and Buddy. So and I was in utter terror, but it didn't last long. The more I looked at the old one, I was like getting a peaceful feeling over me. Don't worry, man, we're not gonna hurt you. Enjoy, them kind of feelings. And well, with that said, though, that's kind of hard to do.
With these two big creatures.
With what I'm staring at. And the big black one, he didn't have no expression on his face or nothing. I mean, he was all
like
business.
A bodyguard for the chief.
He was just one big boy. And I didn't look down. I didn't look at their feet or their. I was mainly staring at their faces. I did see how big their bodies was. I glanced at them from time to time, but then they was looking at Buddy a lot. Buddy was trying to get them. I mean, he was going nuts. Like Old Yeller, fighting that bear to protect his master. That's what Buddy was going to do for me. He was going to die that day, protecting me from these beasts that were over there. So I'm hanging on to him, and it seemed like forever, but it's probably 4 or 5 minutes. So I'm like, well, enough's enough. I said, I seen all I needed to see. So I said, I bent down. I said, we're going to be leaving. I threw my water thing, everything in the backpack. I threw it over my shoulder, and I stood back up, and I kind of looked at him again. I said, well, we're going to be leaving now. And I think I might have said something like, I'm sorry, but we're not on the menu tonight. Something stupid. And, we kind of turned around, and the trail went like this. Carved her up around them. I did say to Buddy, I said, look, Buddy, if they attack us, I said, look, man, you take the black one, I'll take the red one, and I'll see you in heaven. I go, I'm sorry it had to come to this. But I figured this was going to be the end. What else is a man going to think? Seeing something like that, I'm talking 50, 60 feet in front of you. Yeah, it was probably going to be the end. Even what happened in Ferdinand, I didn't get to see the whole body. I'm looking at them now. So I know these things are real. I still don't know what you would call them. I didn't know anything about Bigfoot or nothing. I did see that movie, The Legend of Boggy Creek, back in the 70s. That movie scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
But they really never said what that was.
Doesn't make them look nice.
No.
Whatever it is.
But there it was. The Legend of Boggy Creek right in front of me. So, I flipped my backpack up, man, and we took off. So I said, the first thing I need to do is find a weapon. So I was looking for a big stick, something I could defend myself with, because I knew, we're going to go this way, and they're going to come over around here and flank us.
Yeah.
When we're looking over here, they're going to come from this way. And ambush us. So I found a nice size stick, and I'm like, hey, well, I feel a little better. I go,
they can use that and make a corn dog.
Make a corn dog. So I said, I might get one good whack on one of them. So anyway, that whole walk back to the car, my head's
on a swivel.
Head on a swivel. Like, where are they at? Where are they at? I go, I know they're going to get me. So I see my car, And I'm like, oh, thank you, God, we're gonna make it. So I got out and we went home, and I tried telling a couple people that, and yeah, they're like, oh, no way. What was you drinking or whatever?
Yeah.
You know, I don't even drink. And I'm like, never mind. So I kept that to myself for a long time. So yeah, that was the first big step in my journey. I seen what I wanted to see. I don't know if they did that for me or I just caught them
And
off guard. Yeah, I don't know if they knew I was out there when they tried to get that deer. You know, I mean, because they kind of stepped out and might have been looking at the deer like, yeah, can we still get it or
then, oh, look, here's this
yeah,
big hairy
yeah,
dude.
yeah.
What's
Then they
he?
look over here. There I am sitting up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no telling what went down that day, but I just know I was face to face, with two of them. I
And
mean, one that'd be a good story, but two of them, and to this day, I have never seen either one of them, and I will never forget what they look like. The one had the reddish hair, the old, Native American looking one, and the other one looked like King Kong, just a miniature version, and people talk about, they're big. No, I'll tell you, big. Yeah, this black one, he was big. I mean, he was probably the biggest. I mean, the most perfect body you would ever see, man.
yeah.
I mean, just
Yeah.
for pound,
Built.
just built.
You see
Yeah,
what Denise said?
What?
They saw Greg and realized there wasn't enough meat to waste the energy for the kill.
Hey, thanks, Denise.
She did feed you tonight, try to fatten you up.
Yeah, she fattened me up some. Yeah, yeah, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Until that day, what the whole thing was about them. But I realized it wasn't me they're after. So that made me feel better. That's twice now that I've been within, getting murdered by them. But here I am still living. So I go, well, maybe I'm
Looking at
afraid.
this all wrong.
Yeah, I'm looking at this all wrong. And that's when my attitude started changing a lot. Yeah, I started being, I quit carrying guns. I quit carrying anything, knives, anything.
Worrying about documenting them so much.
Yeah, I was trying too hard. Worried about everything. So I just let all that go and just let me and my heart take me on my journey. And then shortly after that, you see my Curious George pictures.
Yeah.
So it wasn't long after I seen them two that I had that Curious George encounter. Well, I actually got the first time I got the picture of one. And it wasn't just any picture.
It's a great one.
Great picture. And he went nuts over there when he seen me. So I don't know if the other two told the other ones, oh yeah, but this guy's all right.
He's cool.
Yeah, we done seen him before. Yeah. He's no threat whatsoever.
And if you get hungry, comes complete with his own corn dog stick anyway.
Yeah. And they probably
they just sensed your energy.
Yeah, they mind scoped me.
Threat. Yeah.
See what kind of man I was. If I was a good man, well, what I want to do out there if I did see one? Well, was I going to try to kill one of them? Was I going to try to trap one, put it in the cage, put it in the zoo? Even worse, put one up on the slab. Yeah, I could care less about none of that stuff. So it didn't take them long to figure out who I was. And then from that point on, it just keeps getting better and better. Now, 20 years of doing this, now I'm at the point where I can basically go to any forest in America, and I don't care where I'm at. I've never been there before, I can talk to the forest, and I can get the people to start showing that they're there, start doing stuff for me.
Yeah.
And I think that's an amazing feat. I haven't never heard nobody talk about stuff like this. Am I the only one that does this? I don't know. I'm the only one that I know of.
It's
Um,
your approach and your way of doing things is definitely unique as far as what I know. And I've since
yeah,
our first encounter 3 years ago, I've done a lot of research on this. I've looked into other investigators, other researchers that are out there in the field, and 99% of them approach bigfooting like you would a hunting expedition, where they go out there trying to trap, track, they're putting out trail cams, they're baiting, they're using calls or this or that to try to bring them in, and they're not, none of them ever get any results. They might, like we said last week, some of them find evidence from time to time.
yes.
They find evidence, that's been there for a day or two or three. They might even give you a personal account that they tell you, oh, well, we had this happen.
Yeah.
But are they getting that $1 million shot or having that encounter like what we had, where we had 8 trees pushed over, where we actually witnessed one up in a tree, shaking it until the tree broke and dropped to the ground? No, they're not having that kind of thing because their approach is nothing like yours, and I think it's nothing like it needs to be.
Yeah, somebody with infrared going, oh, I got a hit.
Yeah, there's something big moving on that hillside
Yeah, it
over
turns
there.
out to be a cow or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
Uh,
but
because they don't work. I mean, you might get a glitch in one or something, but that's about it. But most of them things, you can't tell what they are on there when you see them
no,
on
no,
all them cameras and they use on them shows and all that.
yeah.
Yeah. So I immediately eliminated doing it that way.
Thank you for joining us, Banshee. And you said you're glad that you live in Australia so you don't have to deal with the things in the wood that we deal with. I'm sorry, but there is everything in Australia wants to kill you. Everything. They got spiders that kill you, snakes that kill you. They've probably got kitty cats that want to kill you.
Sharks,
Yeah,
crocodiles,
everything in Australia wants to kill people.
kangaroos.
Yes, kangaroos will kick your ass.
Yeah, they'll kick your ass.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're like a Mike Tyson version of a deer.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with a kangaroo.
No, hell with that. But yeah, like Bob says, we go out in the woods and we picnic. And Greg walks up to the forest and talks to him. And it happens.
And it happens.
And it works.
And a lot of people, like you say, oh, I don't believe that. That's impossible. Yeah, well, a lot of people on here have seen it as long as you have. Denise, a lot of people have seen what I can do.
Yeah.
And it's just what I do.
To me, you're a special person because of that relationship you have with them. But I firmly believe that anybody that adopts that kind of approach and takes the time to develop that relationship, I think Bob would agree with me. If you take the time and you develop the relationship like Greg has, you can get the same kind of results with the same techniques that Greg uses.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's a whole different approach that the field of Bigfooting needs to open their eyes to. This is why one of the reasons why I bring him on the show. I've talked Greg up to everybody I know in the paranormal community. People need to hear these stories. And they need to realize that, Bigfooting has been looked at the wrong way for far too long.
Yeah.
And Bigfoot himself has been looked at the wrong way for far too long. So
yeah, he's getting a bad rap.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm going to wrap. Speaking of wrapping, I'm going to try to wrap this up so I can get you home and get back here and get me some sleep.
It's been a good show, man.
Yeah, I enjoyed it immensely. I always like sitting down with you. I hope that everyone that watched enjoyed it. we'll have Greg on again sometime. Who knows? We might make this a regular thing. But
yeah, again, yeah. When I get with Arnie, it seems like we could talk for hours.
exactly.
So, but yeah, too bad we can't.
No, got to sleep at some point. But guys, I appreciate everybody that tuned in, everybody that chimed in the chat. I can't thank you all enough.
Thank you, and thank you, Arnie, for having me on.
YouTube channel. Follow his Facebook group, Squatchman Adventures of Squatchman Journey to the Truth. Is that the Facebook group?
Same thing with the YouTube channel.
Yeah, search for Squatchman Journey to the Truth. You'll find him.
Yeah,
and we're going to be putting out some T-shirts and things like that to try to help this guy fund his adventures in the woods, because he's a retired guy and just living on Social Security. So
help an old man out,
help a brother out. He's a veteran. Come on, he's really a veteran. Not like the guys on the corner with the signs. He really is one.
hey, really, like Arnie said, thanks for watching. Thanks for having me on the show. I really have a good time when I come on these shows, because I like telling people the truth. I mean, there's so much, misinformation out there about this subject. So many people that think, they know everything, but they don't. This field needs more people like me to, you get the truth out the way it really is. And I'm trying to do the best I can. It's hard to do. A lot of people, once they find out that, I'm more into it than just flesh and blood, they immediately hate my guts or, label me. It's
not easy.
It's not easy, but hey, I got tough skin, and I'm the Squatch man, and I got high energy, and I can weather any storm. Negative people, trolls, whatever you got. Give me your best shot. I'm not going nowhere, and as long as I can still walk out in the woods and still get behind this microphone and talk, I will still do it. And like Denise said, as long as I have friends like Denise and Arnie, they can always come get me when I'm too old to walk and push me down through there in my wheelchair.
If we have to, we'll wheel you back to the gifting stump and put some donuts on your lap. You're so funny.
Hey, it's been fun, people. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all joining us, and we'll do it again sometime. Look for our show next week, same time, same place. I'm not sure what we're going to do just yet, but we'll come up with something worth watching one way or another.
Yeah, and I'll be back on sooner or later.
Yeah, I'll think about it.
Yeah, he'll think about it. I'll pay him all.
All right. We'll see you guys.
Bye,
Love
everybody.
y'all. Bye-bye.